For their sideboarding, Joseph takes out 2 Steward of Valoron, a Path to Exile, and a playset of Kitchen Finks, while bringing in 3 Wrath of God, an Austere Command, 2 Kasali Pride Mage, and another Dauntless Escort. Stephen, meanwhile, removes 3 Path to Exile and a Caves of Koilos, while bringing in 2 Wrath of God and 2 Oblivion Ring. For Game 2, Joseph is on the play and keeps a hand of Forest, 2 Noble Hierarch, Wiltleaf Liege, Wrath of God, Wooded Bastion, and Treetop Village. Stephen keeps his hand of Zealous Persecution, Bitter Blossom, Cloud Goat Ranger, Tide Hollow Sculler, and 3 Arcane Sanctum. Joseph leads with a Forest into Noble Hierarch, while Stephen plays an Arcane Sanctum. Next turn, Joseph attacks Stephen to 19 and plays Treetop Village. Stephen, meanwhile, plays Windbrisk Heights, seeing 2 Ajani Goldmane, a Tide Hollow Sculler, and Spectral Procession on the Hideaway reveal. He chooses to put Ajani Goldmane under the Heights. Joseph, meanwhile, plays Wiltleaf Liege and passes. Stephen plays a Tide Hollow Sculler, revealing Noble Hierarch, Wrath of God, Spectral Procession, and Wiltleaf Liege from Joseph's hand. Stephen chooses the Wiltleaf Liege. On his next turn, Joseph attacks with Wiltleaf Liege and drops Stephen to 14. He plays Spectral Procession and passes. Stephen, meanwhile, plays Kitchen Finks, going to 16. Joseph attacks with his Spirit Tokens, dropping Stephen to 10 life. He plays a Dauntless Escort and Noble Hierarch before passing the turn. Stephen plays another Windbrisk Heights, seeing the sad top 4 of Plains, Fetid Heath, Arcane Sanctum, and another Plains. He puts a land underneath, plays a Bitter Blossom, and passes. Joseph, meanwhile, attacks with his Spirit Tokens and drops Stephen to 4 life. Stephen goes to 3 from his Bitter Blossom next turn. He plays Oblivion Ring, targeting the Wiltleaf Liege, and follows that up with a crushing Zealous Persecution that kills all the Spirit Tokens, both Noble Hierarchs, and attacks with the Tide Hollow Sculler to drop Joseph to 17. Joseph, meanwhile, attacks with his Dauntless Escort, and Stephen blocks with Kitchen Finks. After Stephen gains 2 life from Kitchen Finks' Persist ability, Stephen goes to 5 life and Joseph plays Wrath of God. Stephen goes to 4 from his Bitter Blossom next turn and plays a Cloud Goat Ranger. Joseph merely plays Wrath of God 1 more time. Stephen goes to 3 from his Bitter Blossom and plays not 1 but 2 Spectral Processions in a row. Joseph plays Wiltleaf Liege and passes. Stephen goes to 2 and attacks with 5 spirits, dropping Joseph to 12. He activates both Windbrisk Heights, putting his land and Ajani Goldmane into play. He activates Ajani Goldmane's second ability to put counters on his creatures and passes. Joseph then plays Overrun, attacks with his bigger trampling Wiltleaf Liege, and Stephen concedes.